Hi guys, I'm here to take you for a short technical tour around Vue Storefront, progressive web app for e-commerce. The project is fully open source on MIT license. It's available on GitHub. Here is our GitHub page. We start with the architecture to better get how the whole thing works. Vue Storefront is a headless application, which means that it's front end totally separated from the e-commerce backend. The architecture is not monolithic, but it's based on microservices. So starting from the right side of this diagram, we have Vue Storefront application. This is this project itself on GitHub. It's Vue.js based JavaScript app that is the fully functional e-commerce UI. It allows you to create the shopping carts, to browse the products, to make an orders. All the data is get from the second layer, which is Vue Storefront API. Vue Storefront API is also available on the GitHub, and it's a Node.js REST API that provides all the data required to render the product catalog, to expose the make an order, endpoints, and so on. So it provides all the data layer to Vue Storefront application. The data is exchanged via service workers. Service worker is a base foundation for progressive web app. Is kind of proxy that works in the browser. It can be programmed by the users, so you can implement a few different strategies for caching the data that is going between your app and the server, but also for some other purposes as well. We are using service worker basically for two things. First is to cache in the browser all the products, categories, and other catalog related data to provide the offline feature. And then we are also using service worker to queue all the orders made in Vue Storefront during the offline that are passed to the Vue Storefront API as fast as the internet is back. Moreover, we have Elastic Data Store here. Vue Storefront API, it's an abstraction layer between Vue Storefront and the e-commerce CMS. So basically it stores all the products, catalogs, product categories, and other marketing data in Elastic Data Store for the best performance. Elastic Search is NoSQL data, and even on the huge catalogs like few million SKUs, it responds usually in a few dozen of milliseconds, so it's really fast. It also provides us with the abstraction layer between any specific e-commerce CMS, which means that Vue Storefront can work virtually with any e-commerce CMS, starting with Magento 2. Also, we have support for Pimcore. In the future, we plan to add the support for Prestashop and others. So we have this third layer here called Magento Vue Storefront or Magento NoSQL. It's a separate project on the GitHub, and the role of this application is to pump the data from the original CMS to this abstraction data store in Elastic Data Storage. We have a few dozen types of requests that cannot be processed using any middleware, any additional store, that they have to be executed in the e-commerce. For example, when the user adds some products to the cart, we have to check the available stock quantities and the price to not allow any desynchronization here. Also, when the same user adds the products to the cart, usually we have to check for some promotion rules based on the shopping cart. So shopping cart promotion rules, as for example, you can define them in Magento. And in this case of, as we call it, dynamic requests that are presented here, Vue Storefront is executing the request to Vue Storefront API, and Vue Storefront API is translating these requests, like for example, get the shopping cart totals, to specific subsequent calls of Magento, Prestashop, Pimcore API. So still there is an abstraction layer, but we have the possibility to call the CMS features directly from Vue Storefront API. Okay, so now I think that we can go to the demo. Demo is available under the demo.vuestorefront.io, and I will open some developers tools to show you some internals and how it works. As you see, the application is pretty talkative in the console mode. It's basically for the development and debugging purposes. You can get an idea how it works just by checking the information here. Basically, the application is optimized for mobile, so it looks and works pretty well on Android, iPhone, and any other mobile device. On Android devices, you can even check the feature of installing this application as a home screen icon. It's another key feature of the progressive web apps that can be installed on the home screen and run without the address bar without the address bar, without the browser window, so it looks like a native application. So we can browse here for the product catalog. We can configure some products, add them to the shopping cart, see some related products as well. A very important feature of Vue Storefront is that it works even when you are offline. So when you go to any category, we are caching all the products you can find here in your local browser indexed DB database. So let me show it how it works. When I switch the offline mode here in the browser will simulate that there is no internet connection. Okay, and still I am able to go to the product. As you can see, the network request ends with some errors because there is no internet connection, but it's totally fine. I still can browse through the products, configure the product and add it to the cart. Basically, the only thing that it differs from the user point of view here is that the pictures are in the low res because we are using the picture used on the product list as a main picture. And of course, when the internet is back, the higher resolution version will be downloaded. The cool thing is that even when I'm offline, I can still go to the checkout and I can still just make an order. So I will try to do this. In the offline mode, there is only cash on delivery right now as a payment method. But in the future, we plan to add some pay by links, so the payment link will be sent to you as fast as the internet is back. Okay, so I'm ready. Click place an order. The order is placed. I get the information that there is no internet connection, so the order will be confirmed as soon as the internet is back and the order will be sent back to the server. So yeah, it works pretty well. I can switch the online mode back again and show you some other cool features. As I said, we store all the data within the application IndexedDB, so this is pretty interesting part of the DevTools. First of all, just take a look at the service worker. We have service worker installed here, so with special scripts that run in the background and process all the requests as HTTP proxy. And also we have very interesting IndexedDB instance where we store all the information required for Vue Storefront to work. So we have all the products here. They are stored as JSON objects, pretty easy to understand how it's structured. We have the orders here, the place order. For example, this order has been transmitted to the server, which means that it's confirmed it will be it is delivered to the Magento. Then we have other metadata like categories. We have some user-related information. For example, the current user token is used for authorization. We are using kind of JWT tokens for authorization with the backend services. We have shopping carts here. Currently the shopping cart is empty because I just made an order, but I need to add something new. Okay. And as you can see, we have the product here in the cart. Moreover, very important feature is that we are synchronizing the shopping carts, the stock quantities and the prices with Magento, with the backend platform in the real time. So we are doing this to avoid the synchronization. Of course, when you are offline, we cannot sync the data. In this case, you get some default prices cached in the browser, but then if, for example, you have some discount code or something, you can put it to the app and it will be applied when the order is sent to the server. So when I add this product to shopping cart, we got the information from Magento that it's in stock. When we change the quantity, the data is updated immediately, but we also send the information back to Magento. So in the admin panel, we have this information in the almost real time. Of course, all the other, let's say, standard Magento features works pretty well. So you can just filter the products by size, by color, by any other attributes. We have the support for user account, so you can have your information here. You can edit your profile. The information are updated in Magento as well. Of course, we have some search feature. We can go to the product to check it. We have some related products. We have some newsletter subscriptions. So basically, we try to map most of the standard Magento features to the Vue Storefront to make shop development pretty easy. To show you how the development of new shop on Vue Storefront looks like, we will go back to the GitHub and I will show you how the source code is structured. Basically, we try to build a kind of framework, not kind of appliance just for fashion or something. We build a framework to make it more flexible and to allow the users to create their own implementation without modifying the core, which can be still like maintainable, updatable, and so on. So as you can see here, we have some core where the core Vue Storefront logic is placed. This is Vue.js application, so we use a lot of Vue.js concepts. For example, the UI is structured to the components and to the themes. Let's see how it looks in practice. So, for example, we have product page here, and in the core you can see that we have basically no UI, no template, but just the pure logic. And what is pretty interesting is that when you are creating your own implementation, what you do is you create your theme. So take a look how it's structured. So in the source themes are the user-defined themes. Of course, we have some defaults here. This is the B2B theme. You can see on our demo-catalog.vuestorefront.io. And the default theme I already showed you just before, where the default Vue Storefront UI is placed. So we have pretty the same structure as in the core here. When you take a look at the pages and the product page, you can see that we have the whole UI here and basically no logic. The logic is in the core. and the only link between this specific implementation, the core code, is this link, like it's mixed in the core page of product. Works pretty good. The same with other components, with other pages and so on. Another cool feature for the developers is the mechanism to build the extensions. We have few extensions here, for example, click and collect, shipping methods, we have some Magento subscription and so on. So as you can see, in the extensions we can define our own components, also can be overridden in the themes. We have our own UX stores, we have our own routing, the extension register, all these things to the Vue Storefront. And basically this is the best way to extend the features of Vue Storefront by just creating your own extensions. Still, you can very easily update the core code, and the assumption we got here is that you basically never need to modify anything in the core. The application uses a lot of Webpack goodies, so you can see the default config here in the build, and also you can just override this Webpack configuration in your own themes to just override some base components, to add some additional aliases, add some plugins and so on. So this is also pretty elastic. We support also the internationalization, so we have all the translation placed here in the JSON files, so you can very easily add another locale to your application. It also is supported by themes, so you can add additional translations to the themes or extensions. Okay, that's basically all about the Vue Storefront. Few words on our process and how to contribute to the project. The whole life cycle of the application is managed here on the GitHub, so you can find some issues to take on Issues tab. We mark the easy first picks that are good starters for the e-commerce. Then after you made some changes, you typically create a pull request, which is code reviewed by us and accept to the core. So it works pretty nice. We have 350 pull requests accepted so far from around 30 contributors. So the project is pretty active and it's getting more and more attention from the community, which is really great. If you need any support or have some questions, just join us on the Slack. Here you have the invitation link. And also, of course, we have some documentation here for developers, how to install the app, how to create the theme, how to manage the data, how to do some integrations with third-party platforms, and so on. We are searching also for partners to the Vue Storefront project as well. Already we have 7 partnerships established around the world, so we have companies from Poland, those 3. We have partners from UK, we have partners from US, we have partners from Argentina, and we have even partners in Australia. As a partner, you get the access to the early releases. You have the first-hand support from core devs. We support your implementations. We can support your clients as well, because our main goal right now is to just popularize the projects, to support the implementations. The platform is stable right now. We have the release 1.0 release candidate published, so it was a major step for us, because in this release we were focused mostly on the stabilization, on some refactoring, And right now we are not expecting any breaking changes in next releases, so it's a really good time to start the development on your own site. Thank you very much. Don't hesitate to contact us on Slack, on email, or any other channel. Thank you very much.